Indian country, Amarin helps. As the only 100% tribal-owned insurance carrier, Amarin helps strengthen tribal communities by providing reliable insurance coverage and keeping dollars in Indian country. From property and liability to commercial auto and tribal workers' compensation,
What's
Amarin
up,
is here to protect our
friends,
tribals,
comrades?
celebrating 40 years of serving Indian country. Learn more at amarin.com
Sorry,
or
guys.
visit
I'm still trying to adjust here.
amarin.com. Repatriation is the return of ancestors and stolen culture. The Association on American Indian Affairs
Looks
is
pretty
hosting
good.
the 11th annual Repatriation Conference, Feeding the Fire, Advancing the Movement, in February 2026.
What's up, fellas? How you doing, comrades? Welcome, welcome. Hey, man, it's been a couple of days. This New Year's Eve, it was New Year's. A lot of shit happened. Well, I don't really celebrate New Year's, but like I said, man, a lot of people have gotten sick. This flu has really gotten the best of us, and you know, I don't like to come out every night and blab about nothingness. Really, it's just kind of like the way my brain works. And I'm sure a lot of you out there, that's how your brain works. Thank you for joining me for episode 6, man. This is episode 6. It's epic. We're getting close. Maybe we'll never get there. Who the fuck knows? But that's what we do, right? Let's hope we get to the 100 subscribers, man. It's going to be like a huge goal. But anyways, as you all know, um, I come here and basically make a fool out of myself. Sometimes, sometimes not. But this is totally unscripted, man. I have stories to tell, feelings to share, maybe even help somebody, who feels the same way I do. But thank you so much for stopping by in episode 6 of Just Another Conversation. I'm your host, Mr. Unspeakable. And, you know, it's hard to come out every night and speak of how you feel, especially if you have things that are non scripted, like I do. I usually come out and speak of my life, other people's lives. I don't do politics. Yeah, man. I used to have a much longer beard. I don't know if you were here for that. That was like about a week ago. I had a beard down here, but I just woke up in the morning, and I don't know if that happens to you guys, man. I just like there's times when I would just wake up in the morning and totally weird thing will pop in my head, like, hey, I'm just gonna shave my beard off that I've been growing for like a year. Or like you get up in the morning and you're just like, I'm gonna go buy a fucking coffee machine. And you've never drank coffee in your life, you know what I mean? Like all those weird things that happen to you. But well, thank you, Don Xitodofi. I can't even spell that, man. It's beyond me. Well, thank you for joining. You guys can subscribe, please. If you appreciate this kind of stuff. And like I said, I don't know if you guys celebrate New Year's, man. I'll be honest with you. This is something that I used to do when I was young. I remember this old fucking sectional, man, in my house that we used to have. It was green, like Christmas tree green, kind of. And we've had that fucking sectional for many years over in Europe. And there was like, how that's like there's a space like beyond your sectional when you put it in the corner, and there's a space in that corner between like the wall and your sectional. That's where every year we had a Christmas fucking tree, man. And my mother, love her to death, but I think she's a little bit crazy. Not a little bit. My mother's been for quite a bit. She's a little bit crazy, but I love her. But anyways, there was a space between my sectional in Europe and the wall, like in the corner. You know how the corner like this, and your sectional is like that, kind of like that space there. We would put a Christmas tree there in that space, right? So as soon as you walk in the room, the Christmas tree would fucking hit you in the face, and you're like, "Whoa, Christmas fucking tree!" And it would stay there. And I mean, we were religious about how, especially New Year's. New Year's is pretty big in Europe. Christmas, not so much. I have my own Christmas, which I celebrate in February. I think it's coming up pretty soon here. My Christmas is in February 11th and 12th, I believe. It's right before. Well, it's kind of like it's called Serbian New Year, really, but it's not actual Christmas. Well, it is. Yeah. Anyways, I don't think they even Chinese celebrate the New Year's. I think their New Year. When is the Chinese New Year? Isn't that like in? Isn't that like coming up in January? Or is it in December before when we? I know the Chinese do it even either before or after. I don't really know. I don't remember. But yeah, we used to have this Christmas tree, man, and we would put it up weeks before the holidays. And I don't ever remember helping to put the ornaments on that tree. I know it was fake for the most part. My parents never we never had this like a real Christmas tree kind of thing. They would never bought a real Christmas tree in our life. We had a fake Christmas tree that would sit in the fucking in a box on our porch, on our balcony, behind the balcony shutters, and it would just sit there throughout the whole year. Our Christmas tree was fake; it would sit there the whole year. But we would only obviously pull it once a year. But it would sit there after Christmas, after New Year's, for weeks. And I believe that my mother would have a Christmas tree throughout the whole year. Like it would sit there from year to year. You know what I mean? It's kind of bizarre. And I kind of learned to live with that Christmas tree in our living room. But I always, as a kid, like you're a teen, like a preteen teenager, you're thinking like, why the heck is that Christmas tree in the corner? Isn't it like July 15th? You know. But anyways, so we're gonna talk about today about this nothingness. You know. Um. Yeah, that's what I want to talk about. Is nothingness. Well, the way it hits me on certain in certain months, in certain months of my life, certain days and weeks of my life, you you know you sit down and you watch TV, let's say, and your mind just takes its own course, and it happens to me a lot. I must say, more than it should. I don't know if that happens to you guys. Like, you know how they call those brain farts, where you're like, you're in the kitchen and you're like, oh, I need to get the eggs, and you walk about 5 feet to your freaking fridge to try to grab those eggs that you were thinking of just a minute, like 30 seconds before, and you can't remember what you were thinking just 30 seconds ago, and you stand there, you're like, and you get this brain fart. What the fuck was I gonna say now? Especially happens when you smoke a lot of weed, do a lot of drugs, and drink a lot of alcohol, which I also used to do. Forgive me, please, God. Everybody, please forgive me. And I don't know why that happens. Why is the part of your brain decides to just forget instantaneously? You are in the zone of the unknown. Okay. You are in the zone of where you can count your own wishes, your own stars. You can count your thoughts. And for just for a second, you're like, wait a minute, what was I going to say? And then you wake up. Oh, yeah, that's right. I was going to grab something from the fridge or whatever. Then you remember it. Now, I see what is happening. Now, this is something that's really bizarre to me. I don't believe, and I'm going to talk a little politics just a little tiny bit. I don't believe that one man can have so much power to overlook everybody else. Okay? I'm not going to point names. I'm not going to point fingers. Hey, what's up? Hey guys, we're about to hit 100 subscribers, man. Hey, I come out in here and it's totally unscripted. I speak my mind. You're welcome to speak the mind if you want, whatever bothers you. If you have something you want to get off your chest, man, just spit it out. And I'm here and I tell you what I think of my 40 something years of experience of my life. I will be able to tell you, hey, this is what I think. This is what I don't think. If you got something you want to spit out, you got a secret, you want to say something that's on your mind, I really don't care. I'm not easily shamed. I'm not easily insulted. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty fucking chill. So now I do want to talk about the one man ruling like a rule world where what's happening right now. We have one man that's controlling basically everything, and we are at his mercy, so to say. I just don't believe that we're so fucking stupid. I wouldn't say me or you. I would say those who have the power to remove those in power, if you know what I mean. Like, I can't remove anybody in power. I don't have that, and even if I could, I wouldn't really give a shit. But those that are in power, that can remove those that are in power, are not doing anything about it. And then we have the one man doing whatever he wants. Now, that's just really bizarre. It's really weird to me. That's not how things work anywhere else in the world. Now, I do want to speak of brotherly love. Now, many of you probably have brothers and sisters, hopefully, mothers and fathers. I hope that all of you have all your family still with you. I really, really do. Family is in if you're how to say, family is an indestructible thing, an undestructible thing. Family can be very indestructible if you do everything according to the plan. Now, not many people are going to stick to the plan in the family. You have those who are going to disagree with you, call you names, tell you that you're a liar, tell you that you're just not an old enough or you're too freaking old to speak about certain things in life. But I've always believed in this family discipline, which really sometimes um, it bothers me that it's not completely happening in my family. If you look at the rest of the world, I have friends who, you know, back at home, um, fathers are very highly respected where I come from. Like what father says goes. It's not like what mother says doesn't go. What I'm saying is, fathers where I come from are highly respected, and so are the mothers. But father is kind of like iconic figure in a family that builds that foundation, that that wall, the protection, the I don't know, whatever it's expected of a father or a dad. You know what I'm saying? So that foundation that you build as a father, where I come from, it's really highly respected. And when I became a father myself here in US, those rules and those foundations were out the window because people are not raised the same way. The traditionally men here are usually pushed to the side. I would say, I don't know. I mean, it's just from my experience. It seems to me that mothers in the United States have a little more pull, a little more pizzazz, if you know what I mean. Like, it's not quite as if a father says something here in the US, it doesn't go as much as when a mother says it. You see what I mean? And that's okay with me. But I am saying is that men have lost that foundation, that protective nature of a man that is supposed to, well, it's opposed to what mother's protective nature is, and instinct as a mother. I believe that fathers is a little more uh, involved when we're talking about the depth of involvement in building those foundations and those walls around you. So I don't know if you follow me, but when I became a father, um, I've felt many times very disrespected. Um, I felt unlistened. I felt unseen. A lot of times I feel like a fucking ghost walking around, Like, although I do love my children, they say they love me, but do they? I really don't know. I hope. Um, and then when you have that instinct from the tradition that you come from, see, when you come from a tradition that has those foundations and family and the walls, and then you come into a completely different tradition, because it does run in the blood, it runs in the family, okay? Like my brother, of course, he's over there, he's got those traditional things that he does, the wife cooks, she works, he comes home, puts his legs up, watches TV. Like, it's like, don't ask me anything, kind of like, I worked today, I did my job. Whatever else you need of me as a father, I'm here, but right now it's my time. That's my brother, kind of like, my brother and where I, well, my brother doesn't believe in washing dishes, like, it's one of those things. Um, Like when my father was alive, when he would stop by and visit, it would literally hurt his soul to see me at the dish, like where the dishes are. He'd come up to me and say, "What are you doing, man?" Yeah, like what's that? Best way to start a day? Well, I will tell you something. The way I start my day, I get up, I don't think what's in front of me, and I don't think what's behind me. I know today is the day that I gotta get through. I really don't think much about tomorrow because I don't really believe in tomorrow. Tomorrow is something that I feel like dimensionally is explained to us as another day ahead of us, like something that's coming ahead. It literally isn't there. The only thing that is here is today. So get through today, get up. Don't think about whether you got yelled at yesterday or what happened yesterday at school or whether you had a bad test or you had, I don't know, somebody said something to you, and just get up and go and do you. Do what you have in plan for that day. And thank you guys. I appreciate you stopping by, man. So if you guys are joining me, then just push that sub button, subscribe button. We're trying to get to that 100. But yeah, man, and it's actually a really good question how to start a day. I mean, I usually, as of recent, I wasn't. I'm not really able to sleep as of recent. I take a lot of anxiety pills, and I'm not a lot, but I do take anxiety medication. Because of my past. But what I'm trying to say is this: um, it's really tricky to know how you want to start your day off when you're under the influence of any kind of medication. Now I can tell you all day that I'm sane. I can tell you all day, hey, just listen to me. I know what I'm talking about, right? But when you're under influence of some medication, especially like medication for anxieties and panic attacks and stuff like that, the benzos can be really tricky. You know, they kind of play tricks on your mind, and um, you know, that's I, I take it for my anxieties and my panic attacks and stuff like that, and it can be very very tricky to start a day. To be honest with you, but I try to forget about all the problems, although my head is completely exploding in in stuff. Like sometimes I'll get up and I'll feel like, man, is it really possible to move on with today? Is it? And I'm not complaining, man. I have nothing to complain about. I have to say, even though a lot of things in my life have happened against my will, so to say, I'm not gonna blame anyone, but I'm saying they have happened against my will when I was younger. That's right, my man. You remember. It's actually not botched, man. It's uh it's looking pretty good, if you know what I mean. You showed up, man. Now let's talk about you. Is what you got something in your life that's pretty botched, man? How's your life treating you? Got something you want to get off your chest? I mean, honestly, I don't think how a decision can be botched really because I think it's only one way or highway, my friend. You know? And I'm sure it was pretty fucking painful. I just wasn't there. I mean, I wasn't aware. But good thing I never had one, so that answers your question. You see, what people will fucking realize, man, like circumcision is has nothing to do with, although very religious people, they think circumcision has something to do with something. I honestly don't, I don't really believe it, man. But it might have. Although I do remember when we were younger, I had a friend whose father was a doctor, and I do remember every year he would have like a little envelope, and in this envelope he would open it when we were kids, and he'd go up to me and say, "Hey, I got $5, $10 in my envelope from these people," and I said, "Who? What people?" He goes, "Well, because we're Muslim and we did a circumcision," and he would tell me like, "Hey, you give money. It's like when it happens and when you're circumcised, let's say as a young man or whatever, as a child, where I come from, like people gather. It's actually a celebration of some sort, and people bring like money. They give you money in an envelope. They say, "Hey, congrats!" And they tap you in the fucking shoulder and the head. They say, "Hey, good for you, man. You got circumcised today. Isn't that just great?" You know, most of my friends, that was like, that was a thing. We celebrated circumcision, man. Never happened for me, which I've always questioned because I got into it with my brother one day because my brother obviously from our conversation that we've had years ago, he was like, "Yeah, man, I'm circumcised." I was like, "Well, I'm fucking not, and I don't care." But I just wonder, like, when you were born, like you and your brother, I really wonder, like, what goes through your parents' mind when they say, "Hey, I want one kid circumcised, but I don't want the other." You see, that's just weird to me. I don't understand why my brother was and I wasn't, and I was never able to get an answer on that from my parents. They just said, "Oh well, that's just kind of how we felt at the moment." They said, but I really don't know if that was the true answer. Like, why weren't we both circumcised? Not why not just why just him and not me, or the other way around? You know what I mean? It's weird. The humanity is. I feel if you're religious, I am all about it. Keep it to yourself. It doesn't bother me if you come out and you say your religious things. Uh, I had grandmother, and my from both my sides of my mother and father. Both my grandmas were religious. One more than the other, but I've just found out something recently. Some months ago, maybe a year ago, that I was baptized, and I never even knew that. Like my whole life, I went living and not ever finding out that I was baptized. That's something that I found out from all my parents. I don't know. We talked about religion and politics one day, and she goes, you're baptized, right?" And I'm like, "Huh? Yeah, you are." I'm like, "Huh? Like what the fuck is that? What even is that? Like what baptizing someone even means? Like I don't know because I don't really know religion, but I don't know what baptizing someone really means. What happens to you when you get baptized? I would love to find out more. I'd like to read about it more because I have no idea. I know they turn you on your back and they dip you in the water and they pull you back out of the water or something like that. And I have no idea what that's for. But I just want to tell you guys, I do these shows. I do these shows. Just another conversation. I don't do it every night. Just because I come here unscripted. I don't have anything planned. I just come out and talk. It's not easy to do. Uh, you know, I should have something prepared, but I don't. I got a lot of stories. I just need to kind of remember it. But I think it's better. I don't like scripted stuff. You know what also bothers me? Like, I started talking about politics some months ago, and I always wanted to like have my own show, and but my thing is about helping people. Like I've always been kind of about helping people. I don't want to talk about politics, although I started off with politics. But then I stopped because it's just not who I am. I don't feel comfortable doing it. I feel more comfortable doing what I'm doing right now, talking to you guys live, you know, um, telling stories and talking about just anything really, whatever comes to my mind, I'll talk about. And I see that I've gotten some new subscribers yesterday, a couple, one or two, but that's okay. Uh, one subscriber a day, two subscribers at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I appreciate it all, of course. Um, I didn't celebrate New Year's Eve, and I'm going to be really honest with you. It's because as of recent years, I don't get out a lot. I have learned that going out on New Year's Eve doesn't really do me any favors. I don't really drink. I haven't drank in years. Um, I did drink back in the day. I remember I would go after work just about every night and have like a pitcher or two pitchers of beer. You know, and it was a religious thing with me. I would after work because I used to cook. I used to cook on this Mongolian grill. I would flip swords and it would be really hot, especially in summertime. And I would go have a beer every night. I'd have a beer. It was a religious thing with me. But then just one day, I just didn't feel like having beer anymore, you know. And I haven't had it since then. I haven't drank it in a long time. And I don't really find New Year's so exciting anymore. Uh, Not because I feel like it's boring or anything. I just, first of all, I don't have the money to go out and fucking celebrate, right? Um, Two, I have a really addictive personality, and I feel if I start drinking now again, that it's gonna bring me back to my drinking days, and that's why I don't really celebrate too many holidays because I know myself. If I have a beer, I will have another and another and another. Or like if I take a pill, I have another one and another one and another one. So I have a really addictive personality. I avoid any kind of celebrations unless it's in a family kind of a birthday or something like that. But I don't do New Year's Eve or Christmas parties because and I was always a really quiet drunk. I mean even if I drank a lot, I was still a pretty good, quiet, polite drunk. Now my my wife wasn't a really the best drunk, but she doesn't drink anymore. And congrats to her. She's been sober for let's see, she's what 5 years? Yeah. So yeah, good for her. You know, and she's fought really hard to stay sober, and I'm really proud of her. Though I really am. It took a long road to sobriety for her, but I was there for every step of the way to support her. I felt like it was my duty. I wanted to help her out. Um, I just feel like addiction is more like a habit, you know, but it becomes like a mental thing after a while. Um, it could swallow you. It could swallow you. Addiction can swallow your life. It can swallow your family, your everything you've ever made, everything you've ever worked for. It can swallow you and spit you out, and there'll be nothing left of you if you don't have boundaries, or however you say it. Now, people tend to think that addiction is more like something that they have to do because of what they have to do. Maybe because of their brain requires for them to get high or drunk or whatever it is. But I feel strongly like addiction is a really nasty habit Like, like people get up in the morning and they have a cup of coffee before work every morning. That's a habit. They do it. I don't have it more than just because they just love coffee. I feel like, right? Um, don't tell me that people are gonna get up every morning before work and make that coffee just because they love the taste, huh? I don't think so. I think people get up in the morning and do whatever they do because it's all a fucking habit. Our whole life is a fucking, excuse my language, habit. Okay, our whole life is a one big giant habit. You get up in the morning, thank God. You do things. You go mow the lawn. You fucking go hang out with your friends. You go to school. It becomes a habit because you're not born with those things. You learn as you go to do those things. Okay, so if you really want to know my answer on breaking the if you want to know my answer, my truth on how to break the addiction, um, would be to truly break a bad habit, because it's not easy. Like, you're used to doing one thing after another every day, same thing. Cigarettes is the same thing, although they are mental and physical. How do you call that? After, like, when you stop smoking, you have this urges of, like, you want to maybe vomit, or you have nausea, or you get really stressed out, and um, you feel anxiety, and you don't know what you're going to do. Your hands want to go someplace else because now you don't have cigarette in your mouth, and you want to do something else. You want to eat chocolate or fucking whatever, right? Um, Same thing as like with drinking or taking medication, or all stuff like that. So, and I have one of those nasty habits, and although the just the word habit, it doesn't sound like nothing big, nothing dangerous, nothing that can really control you, but it really is. Um, you get up and you do it, without even thinking twice about it. So it's a repeat, you like, I'm not sure if you guys know who Charles Bukowski is one of my favorite, my one of my favorite poets. Um, if you are into poetry, I would suggest that you read Charles Bukowski. Um, but there's something I wanted to tell you that he said about life, and I really admire that. I really do. So he said, when the journalist came to his house and asked him a question, um, like, "Are you afraid of death? Are you afraid of this or that?" Right? His answer was really kind of. His answer was correct. It made sense, but it also didn't. He said, "Life takes on a repetitiveness, um, and the older you get, the more repetitive life becomes." So he said, uh, in fact, instead of being afraid of it, he welcomes it, death, right? Just because of that repetitiveness. He was a writer, so his life was writing, so he would write every day, probably every day, all day, and I'm sure that can get very, because I'm a writer, and at least I consider myself to be one, but it can get very repetitive unless you do something else to snap you out of that. It can get pretty repetitive, pretty boring, pretty quick. But I do want to say though, do what you feel is the best for you to do for that particular day, whenever the day is. Pay more attention to yourself. I'm not saying don't pay attention to your family, but what I am saying is, I guess, don't let your thoughts uh, overtake your balance. I guess there's balance within every human, within me, within you. Everybody's got that balance, and don't let those thoughts throw that balance off. It can very easily happen, and if you can control that balance, then you're gonna be fine. It takes a long time, but you have to learn to control that balance. So that's, I guess, my main point of the day. So I want to say thank you guys. We're still a very small channel. I'm gonna come out maybe every evening if I feel like it. If I have something to say, if I don't, I won't. And this was the episode 6. We're gonna do episode 7 maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after. I don't really know. I probably should have a schedule when it comes to that, but I don't. I like more like a spontaneous kind of thing. So thank you all for stopping by. I really, really appreciate it. I would really love to get to 100 subscribers. If you like these videos, and if you, and I've seen some familiar faces already. Thank you guys for comments. Thank you for stopping by. And I'm your host, Mr. Unspeakable. We'll see you for another episode 7. And I hope you show up. Bring your unscripted self, and we'll see you at the episode 7. And bring your unscripted self. We'll see you guys. Thank you so much. Subscribe if you like this. We'll see you. Ciao.